congratulations on such a fantastic film. I've had a chance to sit down and watch it, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, but you're right for a bunch of funky dudes. That was pretty cool.
Well, mate, I have to ask, how did you become involved with the film in the first place? Because I noticed that, aside from acting in it, you also produced it. So how did you become involved with the film in the first place?
Well, I'd known Justin since Dying Breed when he did prosthetics, and I'd known of him before that, and we worked together on his sci-fi series called with Galen Hurd, and we really came each other, and he had this great idea, and I was coming back from Australia, and he was in Melbourne, I was in Melbourne, and he had this great concept of an actual World War II ship, the HMAS Castlemaine, that was literally across the road from his production office and his wicked of old studio, and he had a good little script written by him and Jordan Prosser, and yeah, we worked on the script, and I brought in, basically some funding and money, and brought in my 20 years of experience, and helped cast the amazing ensemble and cast a lot of great mates. Even the most important job I found was I got my old mate Keith Fish from the catering. He out of retirement to do the catering. I met him on Saddle Club. So I mean, it was that kind of family affair in good old Melbourne.
Yeah.
And this Sky Davies, the cinematographer, we worked on when she was just focus pulling on Bellabo and the lighting department. I mean, everyone pretty much was through myself a connection, and yeah, it was really great to put together an amazing team and pull off a really good indie film.
Yeah. Did the idea first come to Justin because he was looking at the Castlemaine every single day when he was coming out of his office, or was this an idea that he'd had there for a while?
Pretty much, because as I've always, said to Justin, the best ideas are sometimes right in front of you and the simplest. Knowing with budgets and just how much money can be sunk into production and weather and, filming outdoors and so yada yada. With the little money we had, we had to make $1 look like 100, and kind of like Wolf Creek had a similar concept, some of the best movies always just rely on a great script and the alchemy of putting together a great cast and crew, and then you get gold. But a lot of the time, the alchemy just had one missing ingredient, and you don't get gold. So I was happy to say, for a B-grade kind of concept like Snakes on a Plane, I believe we pulled off something that horror fans and just people that, are sitting at home and looking for a good Australian little film, they won't be disappointed.
No, definitely not. It does. It looks $1 million watching it. The actual storyline, though, when you were developing the script, where did that idea come about for the kind of horror that you wanted to do, and also how it fitted into that whole World War II story, bringing in a whole other element of horror as well?
Yeah, I guess the horror of war is always a realistic one, so that was really easy to have the brevity in the script about that, and the characters of the emotional hubrises and arcs of their characters coming from, the atrocities of war, and then, of course, the atrocities of getting on an empty, submarine vessel that is full of stolen artifacts and coffins and gold, and obviously some vampires. Not to give too much away, but I think just once again it was a fun way of Justin paying homage to the fun movies we grew up watching in the 80s. John Carpenter's, The Thing, and Aliens, and all the Alfred Hitchcock movies, and Justin being such a fan of it, it was really easy to kind of make a movie and add the ham and cheese and bring out the popcorn kind of vibe.
Yeah. One of the things I loved about this film, though, even though it is a genre piece, there was some amazing characterization in there, even for your own character, having that backstory about what happened with his wife back at home. How important was that to you all when you were writing the script, that each of these characters did actually have characterization and weren't just one-dimensional genre characters?
But yeah, I just can't stand... you don't care about a movie if you don't care about these characters, and our job as actors is to really, try to get as much in every scene before the mayhem and carnage and the horror begins, because then you actually care about this motley crew. So yeah, that's our job. That's our responsibility to give some cathartic, some humility, to humanize these characters and give them an emotional arc and a hubris, and just get the audience trying to kill off the annoying characters, but can the good ones live? You get involved, you get invested, and it was fun because obviously I have relatives, and my grandfather's uncles were Raptor to Brook in World War One, and I'm very proud of Anzac history. So for me, just to play an Australian strong masculine character, but also what we were renowned for when you look at Peter Carey's books of Raptor to Brook and so forth, that we had a larrikinism. We always had great one-liners and slang, and the etymology, was our own. Let's create our own language. So I was really, really fought hard to keep that Australian tongue in there, and not lose that character because of American and the universal audiences not understanding. I was like, we don't keep this authentic and speak like how an Australian would, and we spent a lot of time looking up what words were used in that time period. So a lot of words I realised have been made up since then. So just those little things,
Yeah.
I think create an authenticity and a believability which allows you to get into that suspenseful, surreal world of vampires could be real.
Yeah. And did filming on the Castlemaine, did that help enhance that for you as well? Because it is something from that time period. So did that enhance the experience and help get into character a little bit more?
Well, we were filming in the dead of winter, so that always helps to act cold when you're on the Atlantic Ocean. So there wasn't much acting to do when you had to play wet and cold, because we were wet and cold.
Yeah.
So the rest was just getting through it and watching your head and not hitting your head on the ladders and going down ladders and a ship gun, and just a tight ship. It was a real ship, so it gave you that space to really live and breathe in, and it just helped create a believable world for yourself. You'd blink and you'd be like, I'm actually on a vessel that served in World War II. If the walls could talk, kind of thing.
Yeah. You mentioned that you helped bring everybody together for this film. Tell us a little bit about the casting, because Alyssa Sutherland, Alex Cook, yourself, John Filmingham, you're all brilliant in this film. So tell us a little bit about that casting process and bringing everybody together.
I was just really thankful to be sitting with Justin watching the tapes, but he already had straight away he knew Alyssa was the one, and she jumped at it. So we were very thankful for that, because we needed a really strong character. And John Filmingham came in and just blew it out the water. He's just an incredible actor. I was so honoured to work with him, and he had such great work ethic. He was kind of like our Peter Sellers on set. It was fantastic for me. And Alex Cook, he was defined. He hadn't done much before, and he just was my cup of tea. I would walk over hot coals for that guy. Once again, just a real Australian-made, born and bred dude, and I think he's going to go very far. Not too dissimilar to how when I worked on These Final Hours, and I made sure Angari Rice was going to be the girl in it, and then of course we had Jessica Gowan, Sarah Snook, and Daniel Henshaw. So, I've worked on many films now, so I do know how important it is to get the recipe right of the right personalities, regardless of how good of an actor they are, because we were going to be doing long hours, very extenuous, cold situations, and we didn't need any, precious people that weren't about the crew. It was like, if it was one weak link, this ship will go down. So it was very integral to have the right kind of, personalities. So being on that tight ship in tight quarters, working extreme hours, to have people that were all about the work, and Mark Diaco and Chris Kirby were just sensational, and Troy Larkin and Vivian, who were playing the Draculas, they were 4 or 5 hours of makeup pre, and then 4 or 5 makeup hours to take off. So there was a lot of unsung. Well, they're not unsung heroes. I'm talking about him now, but their dedication does not go unnoticed, especially by myself. And I think people watching this should be very aware of how much we really do love what we do.
Yeah,
it was no kitchen sink drama. There was no precious. There was just people about the work and about pulling off something that was a big feat in itself.
Yeah, and Ruby Hall as well does a magnificent job. But from a filmmaking point of view, when you have a child actor or child actress in a horror movie like this, how do you kind of shield them a little bit from what's happening? Because you don't really want to scar a child actor for life because of some of the horrors. So how do you kind of find that perfect mix for a young actor like that?
Yeah, she looks a lot young years, but she's 12. But apparently it was really important just to get the right parents involved. So there are a few actresses, a few kid actors that have been great, but I just didn't think the parents would be the right mix. So it's about having supportive and really just switched on parents as much as the child wants to be an actor. So yeah, that sometimes the parent can be the one that stops the kids from getting the work. But yeah, just they have a minder, and I'd have to say it was a lot easier than doing these final hours with Gary, because a lot of that stuff was like, don't look there. I had to keep blocking her from things. So no, that wasn't too bad, because she could see the prosthetics, she could see that it was fake blood. So we were very aware of how to try to step her through the magic of cinema, if you will.
Yeah. And one of the things that I found with the film as well was that it just had a natural feel to it, despite the fact that there was a horror element to it. Did you find that when you were actually doing the scenes as well on set, that it did have a real naturalistic feel to it?
100%. I mean, the location was enough, just itself, and then the costumes and the prosthetics. So, I'm very proud to say it was the practicality of the effects really makes it sing. So, I've got to get going to this other interview. Do you have any other question?
Yeah, just one to finish off with. How do you feel with the film coming out while we're in the middle of a pandemic? Do you actually see that as an advantage? Because I've got friends in America who have already seen the film. So is it a huge advantage for an Australian film to come out at a time like this?
Yeah, it's funny how the pendulum can swing. Streaming services and things. Yeah, it's a tough one, but I think it could work in our favour.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah. But I've got to get this call, so...
Awesome, mate. All right. Thanks a lot for that, and we'll talk again soon.
Done.
All right. Okay, bye.